I was born in 1930. They were living in Westfield, New York, and they drove to Jamestown, got there just in time, and I was born in Jamestown, New York. And my mother was hoping for a boy, and she didn't have any name for me, so they named me. And I was born in December, so they picked out Carol, and I've liked the name Carol. I like the name. Aunt Nellie used to call me names, but like Boo Boo and and things like that. But I don't think I was just Carol. I was born in 1930, which you might know was the beginning of the, quote, Great Depression. And my father had just finished building this house for us in Westfield. It was a very nice house. At the time, it was a 2-story with 3 bedrooms up and just kind of normal, but it was all brick. And it was nice, in a nice corner lot. And my mother was, of course, my father used to call her his peasant wife because her family were poorer. Her father actually was a school custodian, mainly, the Irishman. And so...
Sullivan? Was that the name?
Sullivan, yeah. And so...
What was her full name?
Alice Marguerite Adelaide Sullivan Farr. We used to love to sing that. Alice Marguerite Adelaide Sullivan Farr. Aunt Nellie was actually a great aunt, my grandmother's sister. And when the Depression came and they were moving into the new house in Westfield, my mother was sort of overwhelmed by all the children and the new house, and she asked Nellie to come and live with us. And after that, Aunt Nellie lived with us for the rest of her life. And she was a personality. She was probably, my dad and Aunt Nellie were the 2 strongest personalities in my life. She was very jolly. She never owned anything in her life. She loved all animals and children, and she loved to cook. She was chubby. She was cross-eyed. She was not beautiful, but she was just wonderful, and she kept our family. We all really, it was like having 2 mothers.
Oh,
having her around. It was wonderful. Everybody needs an Aunt Nellie. I loved school. I always loved school. I could already read and write before I started school. I just learned because of, kind of reading books. We had a library that we could go to, that we could walk to when we were kids and check out books. So from Mrs. Schwartz, a red-haired teacher, was my 1st grade teacher.
Okay.
And Mrs. Card was my 2nd grade teacher. And I can't remember 3rd grade. Anyway, in 2nd grade. Okay.
We'll let that one slide.
All right. Well, I was supposedly the, quote, intellectual in the family. And
So
that's
your computer skills, right?
No.
Oh.
I never saw a computer until I was an adult, and then I was frightened by the computer. Anyway, in our family, we had various things, like Polly was the oldest and the beauty of the family.
Okay.
Toby was the next one, and she was the artist in the family. She really was. She later on became a designer and all the other things. I was, quote, the intellectual, and that remained until I was a junior in high school. And when I was in junior in high school, I had a big rebellion, and I dropped all my grades and everything, and it was the biggest disappointment to my mother that I was not valedictorian. Oh, it was terrible. Anyway,
Did you join a biker gang? Is that what happened?
no, all the men came home from the service, so yeah. And it was just a sudden, I don't know, freedom or something or other.
Okay.
Ran a little wild, but I did graduate from high school, and I made it to a good college. So,
When did you first meet your spouse?
We were in the government class together. That's when I met her. I know we went to a movie or two, maybe went to a dance or something like that.
We did meet at Worcester College, but I don't think anything much would have come of it except that his folks had a home in Chautauqua. John was there for that summer after we had met, and I think that's when things built up. And we got married. I was 18.
Now, what memory stands out the most from your wedding day, which was at her parents'
Right.
house?
She and I had, I don't know, I think maybe we hitchhiked up to Westfield. I'm not sure, but I think we did. There wasn't any transportation. We didn't have a car.
I had flowers banked in front of the fireplace, and we had our Methodist minister, and some friends came, and one friend played the piano as I came down the stairs. So I was very happy with it.
What do you believe is the key to a successful marriage?
Well, you have to compromise and, be somewhat compatible.
How would you describe your spouse?
My spouse is a very steady, good guy.
Steady, is that what you admire most?
Oh, admire about him?
Yes.
He's just kind of my anchor. He just takes care of me.
Thinking about your family generations from now and knowing they may hear this recording, is there any wisdom or advice you'd like to share with them?
I think it's pretty much the people. It doesn't really matter where you live or color of skin or anything. It's just relationships and things like that. It's your relationship with the people around you and your family and everything that really makes up the major part of your life. And therefore, the most important thing is, I think, to be helping not only your family, but the other people in the world that haven't got stuck with you at the same time, and try and get along and maybe even improve it a little bit.
What is the one thing you most want people to remember about
Be
life?
sure.
What's your...
I was going to say, be sure and put that gravestone on for me, but I
wasn't saying that.
You weren't saying that. Okay, what do I want my children to remember? Well, I just hope they remember us, fairly nicely and would mention us now and then to their children. And I guess we're grandparents and great grandparents and it's kind of hanging in. Yeah, that's enough.
Oh, what a queer bird am the pelican. His beak can hold more than his belly can. He can hold in his beak enough food for the week, but I don't see how in the hell he can.